see, and we're upgrading and working on another site, which is our Crystal Edge Technology site, including with a new gaming website I'm working on. So I am working on the liquids needed for inside of, I think I'm just going to name one Ice Boy and Retro Man. Or Retro Box, Retro Man. I'm going to name Retro Man or Retro. I'm decide which one I'm going to do with that one. This right here is our screen paint under our color Quasar, which for some reason, I don't know why the Fire Stick malfunctioned. Like it malfunctioned yesterday. Some reason the internet, for some reason, it's not connecting to it, so it's just not working. So I disconnected it. Maybe I just get me another one because I do need it for work. So that's it right there. I don't know why they do that. Why the Fire Sticks just don't last very long, and then they just have all kinds of malfunction issues. So we are working on another screen paint, which is going to be pretty soon for the largest screen we have over here. And this is going to involve the color Quasar, but the color is going to be Astar. I think it's Astar. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering this. On my own name, can't think of the name of my own product. Astar, I think it is, but actually it's a screen paint that has another different interesting color to it. So the Quasar technology is a form of colored black technology, and it just allows the screen just to produce some amazing colors. So we're actually going to be installing the blue one over on this larger screen we have over here. And this screen, trying to get a projector to fit the screen has been interesting. So because we have 13 feet to where the screen is at, to where the wall is at, I don't want a short throw projector in here because, sorry people, a short throw projector means the projector is going to be sitting right in the middle of the floor, and I don't want to be bumping into this thing. We need it out of the way. An ultra short throw would be nice, but an ultra short throw in 4K, again, ridiculously expensive. It's not for me. Not my cup of tea of how much money I want to pay for it. The projector I did find, which I do like, and I'm a big fan of ViewSonics because of that whole 235.1 setup on those machines. That's what I like, because you get more for your buck. I found a ViewSonic projector 4K for around $900. Actually, fantastic price. And I'm going to set it up on this screen over here, which is going to be using that new blue color Quasar technology. This right here we have is called the Magenta Black. This is one of the other versions of it. And the screen paint does have the ability to develop 67 different forms of itself. But we're going to do probably roughly around 7. I think that's what I'm going to go with, because I'm not trying to overwhelm myself. I have a lot on my plate and a lot of things I have to do. Still in here updating the website. Sorry about that, people. And some other things I have to show up to. So I'm up early in the morning because I have some family engagements coming up. So just trying to get some things done. And, you know, keep working at the company and get things that have to be finished and completed. So right now, we are going to be working on the panel screen pretty soon on this side. And I am going to be working on my 2 PCs over here, which one needs a complete upgrade. Actually, I got to upgrade 2 of them. So I'm going to put an order in pretty soon for the i7. A buddy of mine got me a really good deal on i7s. So $50, get 2 of those in. And then the other upgrade is we need a brand new motherboard because one of the boards just shut down and stopped working. So put a brand new board in. 16 gigabytes of RAM. We don't need anything big on it. They're retro machines for retro gaming. I do some mid-class gaming on it, but nothing heavy on it. And got to do a power supply swap too on top of that. Get a new power supply for it. So get that one done and finished, and then the paint jobs have to be done. I'm still working on this bit by bit. Artwork on this. I started adding in the freezer overlapped and this is ice buildup you put on the machine, so I had to put all that in there. I'm not done. I still have to go out and get another tube, go back out there and reapply it again and reapply it again because it made it look like a buildup. And then do the paint job. The paint job requires 3 different coats of paint to get it to react, to give it that kind of look. There's a glow in the dark aftershade on it to give it a more fluorescent glow, and after that everything has to be recoated again with clear silicone to give it that effect like it's actually frozen ice. Already started adding the liquid to the containers, so with some food dye I'm able to give off that Coca-Cola look to it. You know, it's interesting, you can't find black. They have it, but it's expensive for black food coloring. So basically, red and blue give off the color of Coca-Cola. That's it. Looks just like Coke. So get this filled up to here, as this one's with the Snapple already done. These are already filled up. And then we drop in some of that poo gel. Now the poo gel we have to get has to be clear. Because if we drop anything that has blue to it, it's going to taint the color, it's going to throw it off. Especially on the water bottle, which actually has water in it. So we have to make sure it's clear. I found something that's clear. It's going to turn this into like a really solid gel, which means it's going to basically, we don't have to worry about any liquid spilling in that machine or anything happening, because all that will be a solid gel. So I just have to add more water and I'll finish off the Coca-Cola. And then after that's done, we put them back in and we use this right here to build up a frost effect around it to make it look as solid frozen in. We have the popsicles coming in, everything else. Popsicles are to be repainted, everything, so everything glows in the dark to the different color that matches the color of the popsicle, so everything glows. And then I have to put LED lighting here, a fan system there, another duct fan there to give it like a refrigerator kind of theme to it. I know I painted this yesterday, I was bored. So I painted that to just match with the rest of this, but this is going to come out because we have the 3050s coming in for these units. So this is going to come out anyway, and that's going to be dropped over into that tank over there, along with the power supply. So it's all set up. And since I'm going to be changing out the CPU, this will have an i5 in it, and this is have an i7 because this is an experimental tank I'm playing around with. I still have the PVC piping system to put around, so I want an extra piping system go around it with extra frost on it. For that, power supply has to be repainted so it glows in the dark. And we have to put another set of fans on the back of here because I'm going to double up my fans here so I can get a little bit more icy cool to it. This has got to come out because that right there is an older model and it keeps having a habit of disconnecting when I'm gaming, so I need the newer ones. These are the newer ones that I will show you, the thumb drives. So that's going to be come out and replaced for that. So all this has got to come out. I got to rebuild this thing all over again. Power button. Oh, that power button is freaking getting on my nerves, man. It works, but the way the PC starts up, it's like looking like somebody trying to start a car in the wintertime. It starts up and it flashes off, comes back on. I don't like that power button. I'm going to get rid of it. Get me a new power button. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go with the wireless. Because I want to do the wireless power button, but we can't put it in here. So I don't like this brand. These right here, these power buttons work excellent. Excellent. These right here, these are freaking nightmares. So this is going to go. Get me another one of these and put it over there. We have to give it a kind of like, I don't know, nuclear symbol design for this one, because that's the one we nuke. And this one over here, we're going to put the wireless power button on here, on this one right here. So far, next step is going to be adding in an RGB kit for the RAM, and then I saw an RGB kit that allows you to be able to glow, make your motherboard glow in the dark. So it's going to have a strip that comes around, so all that's going to pretty much glow. And then we'll have the controllers that allows me to change the light effects with it, which will look pretty cool. This one's going to stay in white and sky blue, because I need to give it kind of a frost look. But this one's going to be multicolored. And we're going to run a flat chaser through it. So it's a LED light chaser that'll push all through here, come out through here, come out through here, come out there, it'll chain through the whole system. So yeah, upgrades. That's what we're doing. And pretty soon, this will be ready to go. It's already set up. It has the same background structure as this screen. This is going to be a panel system of 3 panels. The panels are 36 by 72, which gives me roughly about in the range of 120-inch screen. And I don't know why this looks so much bigger than a 120-inch screen. I think it is. But anyway, we're picking up a 4K projector and getting me a ViewSonic 4K projector. I'm going to connect it right there so it hits right there. Now, because the screen is large, we can do multi-projector setups, which means I'm going to be picking me up a Christie LW 400. They are fantastic for portrait. I love portrait setups. So we're going to do a full screen setup if we want. And with the second projector, we have the choice of putting portrait and the other projector at the same time. This way, we can do the whole thing again. We can put a 720p 600 by 800 SVGA right next to a 4K projector. Let the investors and people who come into his office figure out which one's which, because they're not going to be able to figure it out when we get done with this screen. So that's something cool to show off, because a lot of them have 4K projectors and they really think they need them. So we just buy one. Now, yeah, pretty much somewhere around, I'm in no rush to put this monster PC together, really not. Still trying to figure out exactly what this card's going to cost. I swear that thing's in the 5,000. I don't think I'm going to buy it. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to pay for a 5090. That's absolutely insane. I don't think they would do that, but it's still absolutely insane. I don't know. I mean, I'm happy with a 4090. Yeah, I'm still happy with that altogether. I'm not spending that kind of money. No. I mean, I'll spend $2,000 for a card. I'll do that. But $5,000? That's insane. You know people I can feed with $5,000? I can literally drop that money off at freaking any shelter. That'll feed a lot of people. For $5,000, I can't see myself spending $5,000 for a card. I can't. And I got people saying, well, why don't you go console? No. We're not doing that. The reason why, and I'll tell you why, people say, well, you know, it's upgrade. Yeah, but it's temporary upgrades. You got to understand that. They're going to come up with a new system. There's a PS6. And I told you, roughly, they're talking about $900. I told you this was going to happen. There's no way in the world. They're prepping you and getting you ready for sticker shock. Because that's what you're about to go through. They already charged $1,000 for one of the systems, right? That was a limited edition. So who's to say that they basically come out with the PS6 and then they basically say, okay, we got a pro version now, right in the middle, after you already paid the money for the PS6. Don't say it can't happen. It just happened just now. The PlayStation 5 is supposed to be the next gen. It's not the next gen. Because the next gen would be the more advanced system, which would be considered to be the next gen. You have a second gen system if you have a PS5. You have a first gen if you have the Pro. So who's to say they're not going to do that? They just did it to you. So, you know, and then they took out stuff out of it and got petty and charged you for a stand, which I think is pretty messed up, because they should have gave you a stand for free, as much money you just invested into their company. So, yeah, I was watching all the different reviews back and forth on this machine. All these different reviews back and forth. And a lot of people ain't happy with it. Now, what I find interesting and also a little bit more entertaining is how people still want it to be a $500 system. No, it's not going to happen. You want powerful parts, you're going to pay for them. You got a car, you want to upgrade it, you want to upgrade the engine and exhaust system and all this stuff, power doors, you want the doors to flip up and all that stuff. You're not going to pay the same money for doors that are designed to flip up like a, what do you call the, who has those doors? The Tesla has those doors that open up like that, or basically it's a DeLorean. DeLorean has those doors like that open up like that. You're not going to get the same doors. Those doors are going to cost you money. So that means you're going to have to spend more money to upgrade your vehicle to get those particular doors to pull them off that way. That's the same thing that happens with console, with PC. If we want better parts, we got to pay for those parts. That's how it works. There's no way in the world I'm going to get a freaking a 2090 the same price as a 5090 or 4090 or 3090. It's going to be more money I got to shell out in order to do that. So that's what you have to understand, that a lot of people want to see the console old price of $500, but you want more expensive parts, and it don't work that way. They're going to have to charge you for the parts. So what I don't like now about where console is going and where I see the freedom of PC is the fact that I don't have to repeat the process. You have to go through a repeat process. That's why I have a collection of console systems. That's why I have a collection of libraries. That's why I have a collection of controllers and a collection of memory cards and all that stuff. Because I had to keep buying it over and over again. And that's how I got a massive collection. So that's what's going to happen with the console. So these systems now are not no more in the $500 range or $400 range. These suckers are going to be tilting at 700, 800, 900, and sooner or later you're going to bump into a $1,500 console system, which now will be more expensive than the Neo Geo. So, tell you the truth, you're going to rebuy that system again. And if they decide not to make it backwards compatibility, then charging, because Taco keeps knocking out the charge. Sorry about that. He's knocks my charges out. I don't know why he does that. It's weird. But anyway, because I would be Bluetoothing it right now. I can't phone's charging because he knocked it out. Anyway, so yeah, you're repeating the process. And then they come out with a slim version. And then people go buy the slim version. Now, it's good if people hold out, you don't buy anything. Then you get what's coming up next. But then you hold out and you basically are missing all the fun because people are playing it right now and that pressures you to go buy it. So that's the problem. But this whole what they just pulled by pulling out a whole completely built system, that's pretty messed up. Because I'm going to tell you something. If I bought something, they said this was this year's model, and then boom, out of nowhere, they came with a whole new system and it's better than the one I have, I'm going to be pretty upset because I paid for this and I really didn't get next gen. You sold me on next gen and I don't have next gen. What they should have did was anybody who has the PS5 Pro showing they have it, you should have got a massive discount to port over for the new system instead of have to pay it all over again. That's why my friend was telling me I liked it. I played the Pro. My friend has it. I liked it. It's nice and all. It is, but I don't see the point of buying this because later on they're going to have the PS6, and if I get the PS6, then I got to worry about the PS6 Slim because you know they always do a Slim. Then after the Slim comes out, then I got to worry about them bringing out some PS6 Pro Max nonsense, which is probably going to be better than the system I just paid for, which means I'm going to have to turn around and rebuy it again. And you know GameStop and places ain't going to give you jack on your system because that's what they do. Going and they nickel and dime you. So you'll have to pay more for the system so they make a more commission back to themselves. That's what I'm tired of. I'm tired of that rat race game. So I'm going to build this PC and be done with it. That's it. It's an investment. I mean, PCs are investments. That's what they are. And if you get down to minimum parts, what people do is they put minimum parts in, but they'll put an insane motherboard in there because that means they can upgrade. That's why they put the insane motherboard in there. It's worth the investment. Because later on, if I want to basically put in a higher CPU, better RAM, better graphic card, I can go do that later on. It's an investment. You don't have to max it out right away. It's an investment. You build on it. That's the only thing I'm done with console on that level. I can go back and look at my collection and go, gee whiz, I bought all this stuff. And keep in mind, the systems that I have on are not even supported. So then you have to worry about that. What they decide to go, okay, this is backwards compatibility, which they had to do. They had no choice. For those of you saying, well, they made how would you not make it backwards compatibility? That doesn't even make any sense. If they were making it not backwards compatibility, that means they would have to turn around and they would have to make a whole entire library for a system that already exists. Because it's right there. It's just an upgrade version of it. The only thing they did was they just go in and they put in an option that you can go click and optimize the GPU so your games will run more sufficient and much better. But other than that, they would have had to design a whole new library of games. That's just freaking insane. And on top of that, what are you going to design at the end of the day? You're going to design more of the same stuff you already have on the previous system? That doesn't really make me so excited at the end of the day. Especially if I played it already. I don't know, some people can go back and play games. Me, once I beat the crap out of a game, you can upgrade it all you want. I don't see the value of basically going back and replaying it again. Unless it has a lot of replay value where I'm just blowing stuff up in the game like Just Cause 3, which I like to play over and over again because I get to blow stuff up in there. But other than that, if it's basically just the same game, why the freak am I going to go through that whole storyline because it just plays in 4K now? At that, you don't do 4K. You do understand that, right? People get mad at me when I form site when I said, you technically are not hitting 4K yet. I say the PS6, I would say that's roughly going to hit 4K. But again, they're talking about starting price for this thing is going to be $900. I told you it's going to tilt to 1,000. They already know they're going to get their money from the door. And people went out and spent. Well, the scalpers did that one. They went out and spent $1,000, and they bought it. When people are going to buy it either way, if the scalpers weren't there, they're still going to buy it. So your console systems are pretty soon are going to be tilting into the price line of a basic PC. Now that's why we got to understand on this one from the door. I've had this conversation. You keep saying you cost as much as PC. No, there's category, class of PC costs. Like I said, that 5090, that card can roughly run into $5,000 easily. You got cards out there running 3,000. 4090s can cost $3,000 or somewhere around in that price, which kind of scares me about the 5090. But anyway, you can spend easy $600-700 for a motherboard, very easy. So the price of what a motherboard would cost you would be your console system from the door. And PC gamers know I'm telling the truth on that. You can spend $200-300 for a power supply alone, depending on what your rating is going to be. It can be silver, it could be bronze, it could be gold, it could be one of them, because there's ratings for different power supplies. So you could go through that in the day. So the convenience thing about console is what made it so fantastic was no updates, very little updates. That's one thing that's never worth to worry about. Another thing about it, your system's already pre-built. Everything's there, it's already pre-built. You have more than enough memory, you have more than enough RAM, all that stuff is already added to your system. The fact that you're going through freaking hard drive deficiencies, which is actually baffling me, is just the reason why they couldn't add it in there, because it would just be more expensive. But did they really have to go the route of an M2 solid state drive to begin with? They could use a regular hard drive, would have been sufficient, would have been much cheaper. I don't know, man. I'm just going to tell you from the door. You hear everything I'm just saying right now, just on console alone? That's the headache I'm talking about. I'm done with. PC, much easier. I got more control of my system. I don't pay for any online subscriptions. I can play offline if I want, because I have games that are designed for offline. I can play if I want. A couple times my connection went down. I was still playing my game, just offline. Just can't go to the leading dashboard. I can't play any multiplayer games. People pay for the online subscription because they do a lot of Call of Duty games where they get a chance to play multiplayers and stuff like that, where it requires you to be online. These systems do require you to be online for multiplayer, but a lot of multiplayer games are free on here. You don't pay a lot of money for your games. And then on top of that, no subscription costs. And so you don't have the money for the subscription cost. And the system pretty much gets to be around a little useless because there's not much you can do with it. Because everything's hooked up to that PlayStation network. That's why. Why am I grabbing this? We don't even have this hooked up to this anymore. That's what it comes down to. So, I know. It's your systems are going to cost more and more money. That's what's going to happen. They're going to cost more and more money. And the everyday Joe, which liked the console system because it was affordable. Everything was there. You know what I mean? Some people don't mind playing the online play because you don't have to pay for anything extra. Everything's there at the end of the day. If you look at the PlayStation, the first one, they kind of force you to go buy a bigger M2. Because again, 600 gigabytes ain't going to do jack at the end of the day on your system. Especially with these games and what they require and how much freaking hard drive space you pretty much need. So you would have to take extra money out of your pocket anyway to upgrade the M2s, which are not cheap. If you want to go roughly get yourself 8 terabytes of an M2 stick, you're talking about $900 to $1,000. That's worth more than your system at the end of the day. And then you go look at the PS Pro, they took off the optical drive and charge you for the stand. What's next? They're going to charge you for headsets? Well, they don't give you headsets anymore. I remember PlayStation used to give you headsets. The PlayStation 2 gave you headsets. I remember that. The little wire ones you connect them to your ear. SOCOM. That's what it was that came with the game. SOCOM, because you can speak in the game. I remember that. I forgot about SOCOM. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, it's the guy is this guy on YouTube literally was talking about, he did this talking to 3 people at the same time, how they do that, and one guy was supposed to be the PlayStation, and the guy was like $700. He charging $700. Yeah, but it's your parts you got in your machine. You got some real powerful parts. You got to pay for that. And then he was talking about, well, you can't even add the freaking stand. That was petty. They could have gave you all the stand. That was real petty. They could have gave you a stand. The optical drive, you've been giving them the optical drive for all this time. I mean, why are you going to take it off and charge you extra for an optical drive? Unless basically their plans are not to use it to begin with, and that's what's going to come up on your new system on 6. You're not going to have no optical drive on that thing. They're not even going to bother with it. What's the point? You just download everything. Everything's in your store. What else? Price point? Yeah. They said price point on that system's going to be 900, but it's going to be higher than that. I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to tilt to 1,000. Easy. Easy. Maybe $1,200, $1,300. You think I'm joking? Watch. Watch. If the base point just thought is $900, that system is going to easy push into around 11, 1,200. I'm just telling you. Now, you're going to be in a very weird space. And I'll tell you why you're going to be in a weird space. Because you're not quite PC and you're definitely not console. The retro gamers, the ones that play on the N64 Genesis and all that stuff, they consider themselves to be console. They don't consider you to be console because you pretty much lean toward in the PC area. And the PC area doesn't consider you to be PC. So, again, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be like you have a category class of your own self. That's it. That's pretty much it. You have PC capabilities. You don't have PC freedom. That's what it comes down to. Now, for anyone that sits there and says, "Oh, we have freedom," tell me where. You paid for a subscription, right? I don't. You can you go change out your parts? I'm rebuilding 2 of my PCs next week. Can you do that? Can you go in and strip down everything, replace your RAM and all that? You can just replace hard drive. That's it. Can you rip out that CPU, put a brand new one in there? Can't do that, can you? No, can't do that. And there you void your warranty. Your system ain't gonna be worth jack. If you touch anything in that area, you void your warranty. You only have access to the hard drive and the hard drive only. Anything after that, you can't touch because that's past the warranty point. And then looking at the system, seeing that it has a little fan on it, because the fan is actually much smaller than the previous system, which had a 120 millimeter fan, you're going to get dust in your system. Yeah, and they did a heat test on that thing. Guess what? That thing heats up just as hot as the PS5 gets. I told you. I told you. If they had popped open that thing, you saw that little fan, little corridors in there, guess where that dirt's going to go at? All that dust is going to feed into that fan. You're going to be to clean that out, no problem. But what about the other areas that dust just got to? And after a good period of time, that's going to accumulate extremely fast. Which means you're going to suffer from overheating issues. Yep. I mean, pretty much, let's put it this way. They can take your parts you have on your machine, roughly, some people are saying they're 6 years old. They can literally just go in and get old PC parts and put it on your system, and you'll be happy with it because, again, old PC parts for a console is considered to be a huge achievement. If you really had high-end PC parts on there, your system would be way over the $700 mark. You'd be sitting somewhere between $1,300, $1,400, maybe $1,500 for your unit. Easy. And that's why I got everybody screaming about the price, the price, the price. You want the big boy parts, you got to pay for the big boy parts. That's where it comes at. I have no idea why. People are saying, oh, it's just a console, just a console. Yeah, well, you got an identity crisis going on. Which one are you? Are you console or are you PC? Which one you are? Because you want to, if it comes to the parts, you want the advanced parts, now you want to be PC. The price is too high, now you want to be treated like console. Got to pick one. But I'm going to tell you right now, corporate, the big boys at the big top, they're going to keep upgrading that machine. And that thing's going to cost more and more money, and it's going to opt out people at the end of the day. They're not going to be deported. Unlike on PC, if I can't afford the 5090 or the big boy toys, I could build one of these at the end of the day, and it's much sufficient. It's exactly what it's designed to do. This PC back here can run the Index from Steam with no problem whatsoever. And the basic game I was just playing, I could do 60 frames per second easy on these low-grade graphic cards back here. So I got options to build different types of machines that I want to use. I don't have to go spend $700 because that's the only system and I have to deal with it, I can basically pick and choose my parts and build what I want. Now, if I'm just trying to tell you, I'm trying to enlighten you. But, I'm going to sit back and my 5090 set up, and I'm going to watch the console system rechange itself over and over again. Because that's the interesting about it. People, when you wake up and you realize what the game is all about, that fast. They gave you the PS5. Imagine the bragging and boasting they did on the PS5. It was the next gen system. And then boom! Now you got a new system, PS Pro. So what about the PS5? The games don't even play the same way. That thing has a whole different design of controller. That controller is far more advanced than the hardware you have for your controller. And it's better parts in it. Games look much better. So anyone who went out and bought the PS5, they got to pretty much probably sell their system to get the Pro, or basically they're just going to get both of them. Now you got two systems staring you in the face. At roughly around what that thing came out was about $400, and then you're going to pay additional $700 for it. Gee whiz, you just literally just bought a computer. So then you look at that, and then you're going to rip and rave about the PS Pro, all you gamers out there about the Pro, and they're going to come out with the 6. Now what? What are you going to do now? But then you're going to rip and rave about the 6, and they're going to come out with the slim version. And then you're going to rage about that, and then they're going to come out with another one called Pro Max, which will probably be an advanced version, better than the one you just purchased, but you make sure it's now next gen anymore. We're going to repeat that process again. And then you'll rip and rave about that, and then they'll come out with the PS7. And you'll do it again with the PS8 and the PS9, and it'll go so forth and so forth and so forth. While PC gamers at the end of the day are just sitting there watching that fiasco go down and go, boy, man, they've got to spend a lot of money for their stuff. Yeah, you cost more than us. And you sit there and say, no, you don't. Oh, yes, you do. You cost much more. When I was on console, I paid a lot of money for my stuff, man. I was paying money for controllers. I was paying money for games, massive game library for the Xbox 360. I got tons of games for this system. And then they bring out the other system, and if it's not backwards compatibility, that means the library that you just sunk all this money into, not to mention that the Xbox 360, the downloadable content for your avatar clothes, all that stuff you paid for, music, movies, which sometimes they don't allow you to transfer over due to copyright rules and regulations, so you can't transfer them over. You spent all that money, and then they turn around and they disconnect the server for that particular system because they're concentrating on the other system. So now you're sitting there with a dead system, but you can't even access games and stuff, or you can't even access your downloadable content without the network. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I caught on to. I got tired of it. So you paid all that money for the system just to find out you got to do it all over again. And again, and again, and again. That's why people got these massive libraries of games. They look back and go, I just paid all this money for this stuff. I mean, it's a collector's now at the end of the day, but still, just think how much money you spent. So literally, someone who buys one PC and they upgrade it bit by bit down through time, or they max out their machine, won't have to upgrade for quite a long time. Mind you, I told you before that the RTX 580 is a 7-year-old card, and you can literally use that today to game. That's no problem. 7 years. So you can use parts from 7 years back, 5 years back, 6 years back, and so forth, and that stuff will still run sufficient today. So consider the fact that you buy a PC and build it, or buy it, or whatever you want to do at the end of the day, you will not be going through the process of basically buying a whole new system, a whole new library of games, and then turn around to do this and pay a subscription cost over and over and over again. And they're gonna raise the subscription cost. The subscription's already for that system. I pay what? I'm paying I think I pay like $17 a month for mine. Still pay for it. $17 a month. It's disconnected over in the corner. I still pay $17 a month for it. And that's why I said it's going to be interesting to watch this. It is. Your system's going to get. I'm just saying, don't get the $700. That's the normal. That's the normal price. That's a fair price. If anybody wants to think this, no, that's a fair price. You got a graphic card in there that's equivalent to a 4060 in there. Yeah, that's definitely doable. Mind you, if you bought it separately, it cost you $300. So that leaves you what, $400 left over in your system. So yeah, you got some heavy parts in there. So you guys go deal with that, because my friend, he got his and he's talking about, he's all excited and all. I mean, the system's nice and all. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's garbage or trash. It is nice. I played it and I liked it, but I don't see the investment value there for me, because I know if I buy this system, I know that they're going to come up with the PS6, and then what? What if they decide not to support the system anymore? The PS4 is only being supported due to the fact that they had a really bad launch on the PS5. You know how bad the launch was on the PS5? It was horrible. That's why that system's still intact. That system should never still be there. It's a 10-year-old system. It shouldn't be still running at all, period. That's like the Dreamcast still running, or the Sega Saturn still running, or even still supporting the Atari 2600 or the ColecoVision. They don't support those machines anymore. When the Atari Jaguar came out, they weren't supporting the Atari 2600 anymore. That system was gone. The Jaguar is the new system they brought up. But now, if you look at that, the PS4 is still running. And games, I can go into my library, I can see that on the store, they still basically designing games for that system. Which means the fan base on the PS4 is bigger than the fan base on the PS5. Because the PS5, because the launch was so bad when it took off because of the scalpers, and it was almost virtually impossible to get one of those systems for about a year, they lost a lot of business. Keep in mind, you got a system sitting up in a storage unit somewhere, selling it for high prices. You miss out on the games that are being purchased by one customer, the subscription costs, all that keeps the whole entire system going. There are more gamers on a PS4 than there is on a PS5. Because that system was easy to get. Not when you were trying to get a PS5, it wasn't. It was a nightmare trying to get one of those systems. And not only systems were so valuable that not only did you have to worry about a store having them in stock, but you had to worry about freaking Walmart employees or Target employees stealing the systems, because they were stealing the systems from within the place where they were selling them. So that made it even worse. So it had a bad launch from the door. It had a bad launch from the door. That system right there, proof, should have been discontinued a long time ago. That should not be running. I should not be paying $17 a month for that subscription cost. It should not be running. I can literally watch movies off there. I went and downloaded an app that allows me to watch movies off it, supported by PlayStation, that's on that system over there. And it's interesting how, and I'm going to tell you something, this is karma on so many levels. When you have people that were up there being arrogant and being smug, talking about, oh, you got the PS4, you don't have the next gen system. Well, guess what, PS5 owners? You don't have it either. It's a Pro as a next gen. So your system just got downgraded by a more advanced system that, again, is better than yours. I don't care how people sit there and they slice it from 6 ways to Sunday. It's better. It is. I've already played the PS5. I played the first one, and the Pro is far better. It is. It's a much bigger improvement. The controller is even better. I'm not even a fanboy. I'm just saying from basic. I'm a tech junkie. I'm just telling you, it's way better. It is. And everybody can make sit there and say, well, it's not much. No, it's way better. It is. So that's the thing. When I'm playing the system, I'm like, gee whiz. At the end of the day, I asked him, I said, because he had a PS5. I said, what's the PS5? He said, well, I got rid of it to get this one right here. I said, but you don't see this nickel and dime rat race you're going through? Like, you're going to turn around and you're going to basically buy the PS6 when it comes out. And that's going to be rough. They're talking about base price is $900. Whew, $900 for a console system. That reminds me of Neo Geo. Y'all bring me back to Neo Geo era. Freaking almost $1,000. $1,000 for a system. And keep in mind, your games are going to cost more too. Watch. Even though it should be cheaper, your game should be so cheap. It's not even funny how cheap your game should be. And the reason why, because you're not pressing them to a physical disc or a cartridge, which costs money. Cartridge costs costs more money than a disc. A disc is much cheaper to press to, but you don't even have a disc anymore. So your download should be cheap. Your games roughly should be in the range of like maybe 30 to 40 bucks. There's no way in the world you'd be sitting there paying 70 bucks for a game that's downloadable versus a physical copy of the game? Are you kidding me? The physicals are always more expensive. If you go buy a movie, they're going to charge you more money for the physical disc, and they're going to charge you less money for the download. How the frick are you paying the same amount of money for a download? Trust me, it's on PC too, so I'm not just ranking on console for this. The PCs go through it too. I was looking at that Call of Duty 6, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm downloading this. How is this going to cost me 70 bucks? See what I mean? That's what I'm talking about, that man. There's too much money they taking back at the end of the day. They're taking so much back, it's not even funny. You got to think about that. The digital download's always cheaper because there's no physical disc there at all. You don't have to pay for that. Like when a disc costs money, it costs money to press the game to the disc. Yeah, but we're downloading now. How am I paying 70 bucks for a download? Ugh. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, people, I got much work to do. This is the reason why I'm building me a game site. I'm building me a game site to talk about this kind of stuff. I got a whole bunch of other gamers that I'm bringing on board for this, for their builds and stuff like that. This involves everybody. It's not going to just involve PC only. It involves console too. And it's not in there just to tear console down and say console just that and the other. No, you guys made some huge improvements. I'm console. I play console. I got console games that date back before some of you people were actually born on YouTube. I've been playing vector graphics and Pong, so I've been around for a bit. So, yeah, I like console. Would I like to get the new systems? Not really, to tell you the truth. Kind of tired of the rat race. If anything, if I do get a system, it would probably be Nintendo. And an Apple. I'm definitely going to get that Apple. And the reason why? Because, again, I mean, they did it before with the Pippin, and it didn't do too well, but I'm pretty sure they should do well this time around. You know, they got some new tech to that thing, but, I mean, come on. If I'm going to buy something that's going to be a collector's, I'm buying that instead. I'm not going to shell out $1,000 for a collector limited anniversary edition of the what do you call it, of the PlayStation. No, I don't see that being a collector's. Besides, you can't open it up anyway. You know, you buy it, it's only stuck there on the shelf anyway. But it doesn't need to here nor there. A collector's for me would be a system that you rarely see become a system. That's a collector. So, NEC had a gaming system a long time ago. I didn't even know this, but they had one. NEC had a gaming system. I know Philips had one. They had the CDI. Panasonic had the 3DO. And then, what's it called? Yeah, Apple's going to have one. Apple did it the first time with the Pippin, but the Pippin didn't do too well. It wasn't received greatly. But this new one they got, I'm definitely going to buy it. Because again, if it fails, which I hope it doesn't, but if it does fail, I got one. And when they come back in 10 years from now, they go, yeah, you know, well, Apple came up with this system, blah, 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 didn't do too well, but, you know, it's collectors now. Yeah, there you go. I'm going to get 2 of them. I'm getting one sealed in a box and one I can play with. Unless scalpers come in and take that from me, that'll be jacked up, so that means I can't have that either. Hope they don't. Hope they leave that alone. So I definitely want one of those. Am I looking to do all my gaming on it? Yeah, no. No. I'm just going to get it to try it, see what it's like. Chances are modification is going to be probably a freaking nightmare for that system because I don't do well Apple PCs or modifications. But just to have one to show they made it, yeah, I would definitely get that. Wish I had a Panasonic 3D. I got one. I own one, but I wish I had one in the box, mint condition. Yeah. So right now, consider where Sony's at. Sony would be the most powerful console system right now. It would be. Unless the Xbox is basically pulling a Trojan horse. But you know, like, you know what I mean? They could be just waiting. They could be just waiting and watching you guys at the end of the day, doing their research, watching all maybe the do's and don'ts, what not to do with the system. And then, again, if you basically carbon copy your system PS6 close to this thing at the end of the day, then Xbox already got a readout on exactly what you're going to build and what you're going to design, and they may go over your system, take your system out. So, yeah. Worst enemy you can have is one you can't see. Those are the worst ones. You can't see those, you got a problem on your hands. You don't know exactly what to do, what they're up to, but yeah, you don't know. Sleeping giants are extremely dangerous. And that's what you have right now, a sleeping giant. You think that Xbox, literally serious, Microsoft is out mixed up they're tied into, that they're basically just going to bail out? Oh, heck no. They got a sleeping giant coming. Yeah, they have one. I'll tell you the truth, we need more games in these game wars. Man, I remember we had a whole bunch of systems, man. At one point, those were the golden eras where you had the Panasonic 3DO. Bam, they had their own system. This is called, in console systems, they were considered to be the elitist category. Neo Geo, what was it? Philips CD-ROM, because they were like $700-800 systems. Besides, the Neo Geo was the king of them all because it was like $1,000 system. And then you had the wars between Genesis and NES. They would go back and forth, and then they had the whole Genesis came out. Cause at that particular time, I hate to say it, I know Nintendo players are gonna like this, but Sega was kicking your butt. It was kicking your butt. It was. I had both systems. They were kicking your butt. They came with the 32X. They came with the CD-ROM on their system. They had the Sue Shark, all that on there, because now everybody was dipping into the CD-ROM systems. You know, you had freaking TurboGrafx 16 came out. Then they had the ROM system on the back of the Bonk's Adventure. 3DO did try it with CD-ROM, but it didn't go too well. The loading time was absolutely horrible. Yeah, and then later on, like I said, these systems were basically evolving, but they had the 32X, which I didn't understand the 32X, because the 32X versus the regular cartridge, I really didn't see 32-bit system. Like, I really didn't see it, to tell you the truth, honestly. But, yeah, it was, and then Sega Master System, they had a light gun system. Nintendo had a light gun system. They had the track and field with them. They had that little robot, which again, I don't know what that thing was for. Like, it didn't play a lot of heavy games on it. More like puzzle games with it. Pretty much it. The track and field was fun as I don't know what. That was pretty fun, pushing your brothers all over the place while you're basically running, trying to take off before them. So that was hilarious. But, that's what I like. That's the era I like. Yeah, the Atari 2600 come up. If you had one of them, you was definitely the kid on the block because you had the Atari 2600. You had the ColecoVision come out. You had the Intellivision system come out. They bought the Atom system out. That was the big boy system out of that generations of systems. You had the Vectrex because then you had the handheld models were coming out. You had the tabletops for the tabletop Pac-Man, tabletop Centipede, the arcade games, converted them to tabletops, and you had Simon, Merlin, all of them were coming out. ColecoVision with the football, the basketball, all of them. If you're in that era, you know what I'm talking about. And then later on, this is when you saw Atari versus the NES. I remember that. And Atari couldn't stand a chance against the NES. Atari had a mass library. Yes, they did. You ever watch a documentary on that? It's freaking insane. So Atari was trying to warn them that NES was coming to them. Oh, yeah, and the crazy thing about the NES and the 3DO. You know, all these systems were basically at one point trying to merge together to make better systems. And some of them didn't trust others, and they went on their own different route. But yeah, there's a story in there about the Panasonic 3DO and the 64. I gotta look that up. There's something about them. But I do remember when Atari came out, Atari had the massive library. And they thought having a bigger library would pretty much keep them on top. And they were trying to explain to them about the NES coming out that the graphics on the system were freaking unreal. And yeah, eventually, yeah, the NES is the one that put the end to the Atari. You know, you see which systems actually wiped out each other and why they are what they are today. And then later on, the Atari came out with the Atari Jaguar, which was supposed to be a 64-bit system. Was it better than the NES? Yeah, heck yeah, it was way better than the NES. But it was expensive, it was big, it was bulky, and it really didn't take off too well, so they crashed and burned eventually. And then you had these little spirit-of-the-moment systems that were popping up, like TurboGrafx 16 with Bonk's Adventure. Short-lived, wasn't around that long. There's another system that went under real quick. You had the ColecoVision, One of the games we played was called Demon Attack. It's these flying saucers would come down and destroy stuff. Pretty good game. Again, short-lived. Uh, Pretty much the ones that stuck in there the longest was Genesis and NES. They're the ones that were in there the longest. You will see these little systems pop up from time to time. And then Dreamcast came out, and the Dreamcast was from Sega. Sega had the Sega Saturn, which I liked. I'm a big fan of Sega Saturn. And then they had the Dreamcast, which was a game system way before its time. And Nintendo had the N64, which they were still holding their weight at the end of the day. The N64 was a very popular system. People still bought it. People still bought the Dreamcast, even though the Dreamcast had better graphics than the N64. Still, Nintendo was able to hold their own. I tell you, at the end of the day, Nintendo's a beast at the end of the day. They have pretty much held their own for a long time. Look how old NES is compared to every system right now. It's the oldest system, and it's still holding its own. You gotta respect that at the end of the day. It's been around for quite some time. I still think that Sega should have stayed in. I don't think they should have basically sold their games off of third party. They should have stayed in for the long haul, because Sega is a very powerful library. I don't think they should have basically just folded like that. But, you know, again, they did something too. They stretched themselves too thin, and eventually couldn't cover whatever they owed at the end, because again, they were borrowing money on that company, and they basically eventually collapsed. So now I'm sitting up there, not a big fan of PlayStation, which I wasn't at the time, because I didn't like that dual shock controller thing. I couldn't stand the way the left. I hated it. And I had the N64, which I did like. I like the controller in 64, and when I looked at the Dreamcast, the Dreamcast had the same kind of controller set up, but then when the Dreamcast went under, I had to find something else that was close to them. And what came up was the Xbox. Because I wasn't going back to a PlayStation. I wasn't a big fan of PlayStation. I had the first one that came up with Toshinden, and that was it. After that, I didn't really touch it. I never had a PS2, never had a PS3. I had a PS4, that's basically about it. I was a huge between N64 and basically the last system after that was Dreamcast. When the Dreamcast system went under, I was going up to the store. I seen some commercials for Xbox. I'm like, shoot, Microsoft is coming with a gaming system? Like, that's crazy, because you never think they had their own system. It's called the Xbox. I remember seeing the games for it and everything. The Dead or Alive, all that, especially Dead or Alive. That's when it caught me. When I saw Dead or Alive, I was like, oh, shoot, the graphics were freaking amazing on Dead or Alive. Ninja Gaiden, all them. Went up to the store to go pick it up. That thing was like carrying a microwave. So I didn't think it was that heavy, and the controller was huge, man. But I'm telling you something. That right there, that Xbox system, the Xbox Live, I don't care. I'm sorry, Sony, at the end of the day. We will never, ever be able to compete with the online experience that the Xbox gave people. Never will be able to. The Xbox system, when you first put them headsets on, I remember playing, what was the game we played on there? Mechasalt. Mechasalt in there, Unreal Tournament, games like that. And man, being able to go in there and be able to scratch off that subscription card, and you had to type in, ouch, my leg. You had to type in the codes in there, that little code you type in there, and then it would activate your system. And then you would click on, put that microphone system on, and you would hear people in the room talking, like, oh shoot, there's people in the room talking. And you're talking back to them, hey, what's up? I saw so. People announcing where they came from. Yeah, man, that experience right there, that was an amazing experience to Xbox. Amazing experience. So yeah, I like that. You had to get. I remember when you had the Xbox system, you couldn't even play CDs at all. You had a DVD-ROM there, but you couldn't play movies. You had to get a special adapter that clicked on your control port, and with the remote control that would allow you to play DVDs. Because I had one. Actually, I got one of my own system. I should bring it over here and show you that one that's set up. Oh, I should bring my Xbox over here, man. I'm gonna go dig my Xbox up and bring it over, man, and play some of my old games on there. I got a massive title. I got over 300 games on my Xbox system. 300 games. I got everything. I got GTA on there. Everything. Now, I'm gonna go bring my Xbox and my Dreamcast over here. I'm gonna get both of them out and bring them down here. Should try to see if I can find my GameCube too. My GameCube down here too. Yeah, I'll get my GameCube. I got Luigi's Mansion on it. I love that game. But anyway, yeah. I like that experience I had with Xbox. And then when I got Halo, that was it. That was it. Fanboy for life. Halo was it, man. That first game with Halo, the first game they made, that game was freaking epic. That's the best game I've ever played in my entire life. When the helmet came out, got it. Any of the guns came out, got it. When the swords, melee weapons, got it, got it, got it. Every game that came out, even read the book. You ever read the novel, the book for Halo? Yeah, it's freaking amazing. Yeah, big Halo fan. Huge, massive Halo fan. I couldn't care less about a Sony. And then later on, you got, what was it coming out later on that? You had the Xbox, Sony came out with their system, I remember that. Sony, I did have Jumpin' Jack Flash with them. And I did have Toshinden. That was pretty good. Oh, another game I liked on the Sony was Loaded. Oh my goodness. Hours playing Loaded, man. That was a good game too. I had a couple of good games on there. So I guess, yes, all together, yeah, all the systems, man, I got a chance to run and play were actually fantastic at the end. Dreamcast is the one I like the most. I like the Xbox. I'm a fan, I'm a big fan of Halo, but Dreamcast, I do like Dreamcast the most. Dreamcast was interesting. It was way before its time. But then at that time, at that era, man, you were really gaming. You were really gaming. In the day, yeah, my goodness, man. I don't even know what console is anymore. I don't know what it is. I don't. If you grew up in the era that I grew up with, playing Pong on a Tandy Corporation, the machine that's plugged in the back of your UHF in the back with a little coaxial cable hookup, you did that gaming for a long time, you know the difference between what real console looks like. Today's system, I don't even consider a console. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying to be rude or anything. I don't know what it is. That PlayStation 4, I don't consider that thing to be console at all, period. I don't know what it is. I don't consider it to be console. I think console started to really change is when that Dreamcast came out. Because you played the Dreamcast was online. They had something called SegaNet. You can go online with it. You go to chat rooms, all that stuff. Later on, they would have these discs that would come on. You can actually upgrade. They were browser discs. You can actually upgrade your system. Later on, near the end, they came up with JavaScript that allowed you to watch movies and stuff like that. But not movies so much. You could watch, like, go on YouTube because it had a browser on it. And you go on YouTube, you can watch movies and little videos and stuff like that. That's basically about it. But they kind of toyed around the fact about being able to watch actual DVD or movies, stream movies off of it. When the Xbox 360 came out, and some of those things became a possibility. You could do some of the stuff on there, but not a lot of stuff on there. You had Netflix and stuff on there. You got a chance to stream and watch movies with friends and stuff. That was pretty cool. But yeah, that's when everything started to change. Now you got systems now today. Console was supposed to be easy, no building, no hardly any downloads, not expensive, affordable, much more affordable than PC. Now you guys are costing as much as PC. And your downloads are insane. How in the world are your downloads? You got a system that has 825 gigs, I think, and the download drops it down to like 600. That's a massive download. Yeah, and then your games take a ton of freaking memory. So I don't know what to call. I don't know what to call them. I don't call them consoles. Nope. But that's y'all at the end of the day. That's I hate to say it, but people who do console, that's y'all. Well, good luck with all that, because I'm only on PC, so I'm done. I play my console system over there. I don't even touch it anymore. I'm on my PCs over here. I'm going to be upgrading my machines with the 50, 16 gigs, and the i7. I can run majority out of Steam. I can probably run a majority of maybe about 80% of what they have on it right now, with just that. And those systems right here are probably roughly all together going to cost me about probably $520 to do those. It might be a little less than that. That's it. I'm building two at the same time. And the PC I'm actually going to be putting together, that monster at the end of the day, I can run whatever freak I want off that thing. I mean, literally, I can knock out Steam and everything else along with it. I can run every VR application. I can actually design games on there. I can do anything I want on there. Applications on that thing are going to be insane. I mean, I'm going to be using for other than just work because, again, a 5090 graphic card, shit, I can do visual and special effects with that thing easily. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about upgrading the unit I got in here for interaction and get something much more advanced because I got the machine to do it. So that machine's going to work too. That machine's got to make money. Can't be somebody using this for a gaming system. I gotta get my money back on anything. I'm investing in something like that. I have to get something back out of that. I finished my giant screen over here. Got the 235.1. Thank goodness the 235.1 projector isn't expensive, because at least I'm only paying about $900 for the projector for the this screen over here, the 4K. About the projector on this side is only going to cost me about $160, which is good for the 235.1, and this short throw, which will fit this just perfectly. I don't need 4K for this. This one, the reason why I'm getting 4K, because I'm buying a 5090. That's why. That's the only reason why I'm buying a 4K projector. There's just no point in putting that kind of money into a graphic card and you got it on 720p. It's a waste. It's too much money for that card. Got to put on something that's going to be, which is interesting. I'm going to do a little test on that with our screen paint. That 5090, we put that on our 720p. We got to get a splitter to do that, to run two different projectors at the same time with one card. I'm curious. We drop one on 720p, one on 4K. I wonder how much of a difference when I see at that 5090 versus on our screen paint. How much will that change? So I'll have to run that test back on a white and gray screen to see the reaction next to our black technology and then certify to see how that would. That'd be some interesting testing. That'd definitely be some interesting. I'm curious how that would react. All right, we're over time here. I have to take care of some business today, and I'm going with family for the rest of the day. And just want to come here and talk about that and what we're working on. I have to get my, hopefully by the end of this month, we'll have all this stuff done in here and finished. We'll have that finished by the projector, and we'll be completed with this whole section. And I still got to do the floor, get that done, because we have to take this floor up. This floor is awful. See the split right there? These things don't connect for jack. They're headaches, so I'm never using these ever again. Get rid of those. I got a cabinet system coming in because there's somewhere to put the projector. I'm definitely not mounting this to the ceiling. I don't do any holes in the ceiling. And I'm going to start working on, after all that's completed, I'm going to start working on my brochures and stuff. My new business cards, my digital cards, and I have to bring in a 100-inch portable screen and a 50-inch portable screen, two projectors, to start setting up my screens that I need to go back and forth to be on site. So I need to get all that set up. A couple carrying bags, duffel bags, stuff I'm going to need, extension cords, fire sticks, stuff I would need to be to broadcast and show stuff at the end of the day. On these different sites I want to go to, because I do want to do my website with different locations that we're at. Not all the locations being here. I want all the locations to be in different areas, so I have to get ready for all that to get that done. And then I have acquired a building to start working on AdTech. So we have a place. So I'm not going to be showing this place off, because what we're going to have in there, which is AdTech, and no one's going to know what it's at. There's AdTech. Our technology is going to be in there, and that building is quite secure. I had to make sure of this, because AdTech is interesting. AdTech is going to be a whole new different form of technology we're working on. There is a gamer side of it. There's a home theater side of it. There's actually, it's not a screen paint. These are actual physical different types of prototype screens that we're working on. So that's why we can't even broadcast anywhere in that building, because there are prototype screens that we're working on that involve AdTech. I want to do something completely different for the ultra short throw community. I want to work on a different type of screen that you can take those. I hate those projectors. They're so bulky, man. It's like a big old piece of furniture staring you in the face. When I first saw the P2, I was like, sheesh, this thing is huge. When I saw the Epson LS800, I was like, oh, just heck no. There's no way in the world I can have that thing staring me in the face all day. No, we're going to be building some pretty interesting screens to accommodate those projectors, to make them disappear so you don't see them and all you see is a beautiful screen, which you should be seeing. Because I don't want to look at that thing at the end of the day. And I've talked to customers that that's why they buy that whole bookcase cabinet set up where you can put the projector in. And when you're not using it, you can shut the door and hide that thing so everything looks like a nice piece of furniture in there. People don't want to see those things. They're big and they're bulky. They're ugly. I'm not saying they're ugly looking. They're just big. So So if you look at that whole furniture set they set them on, there's a door that swings down and covers that thing up so you don't have to see it. So those cabinets can cost you a couple $1,000s. This whole setup right here is going to be much more easier, much more advanced. But on top of that, it's going to be much more affordable. So we can't really show you what's going on in there because of the prototype screens we're going to be working on for AdTech. But it's going to be a physical projection screen. All right, people. I'm sorry. Just a little bit out of it here and there, but I hope you enjoyed our updates here. And we'll talk about gaming. Can't wait to start working on my gaming website. That's going to be fun. And I get to talk, and my buddy's going to be building a forum site for it. So console gamers can come in there and they can share their point of view. It's not about tearing anyone down. It's about learning from each other. I would love to see console continue on, but not in the route, not in the way they're going. Not in the way they're going. Mind the whole purpose of console. Yes, you're right. You're right. It's supposed to be affordable because that's what they sold. That's what console is, more affordable. And now when you run systems at $700 and up, and then you're talking about a base point for a PS6 when you're $900, you're not really tilting the console anymore. You're really not. That's the thing about it. I've literally, and I can honestly say that as a PC builder, I have literally went out and bought a console because I didn't want to build a PC. That's why I got the PlayStation 4 sitting over the VRs. Because when I added up how much money it was going to cost me to get a graphic card and all this stuff to build me a VR system for the Index or the G2, it was going to cost me a lot of money. And I'm like, oh, heck, I don't want to spend that kind of money. I needed something that had everything already there, all ready to go, with no different forms of applications and stuff I'd run. That's what attracted me to the PS4 when I saw those VR glasses. I was like, oh, man. We got the VR glasses, we got the sensors, all that. That's why I bought my system. Because, again, it was so much more affordable to do it on console than it was to go out and build a PC. So altogether, with the glasses and everything I paid for, roughly I think I was in a range, because I had a whole bundle with it, I roughly had a range probably around between $700. Where if I went out and I did a PC, I'm talking about an easy $3,000. That's why I went and bought it. But now, today, I might just go build me a PC. Because again, if I'm going to spend that kind of money and then keep repeating the process over and over again, yeah. Question. If you went out and you paid for the VR system, the glasses, right? Can you use the VR glasses with the PlayStation Pro? No, you can't. Because they have a VR system that's already replaced the previous VR system. So that means in order for me to do the VR, I would have to spend the money, $500, for the new ones. So that would cost me more money. This is the rat race I'm seeing now, with the systems changing and costing more money, and the price is going up on them. It's too expensive. I come up cheaper if I build a PC. I build a gaming PC, yes, I'm going to put some money into it, but on the long run, I won't keep buying this system over and over again. It's kind of like the same scenario of the solar roof. You keep paying the bill over and over again, and you will. Same electric bill again, again, again. Or you can invest your money, pay a little bit more, and get the solar roof, and then later on, you don't have to keep paying out now. Because all that extra money will go right to your pocket, or for other things. It's the same scenario about the console. Same thing. It was supposed to be convenient and affordable, not expensive. So keep in mind, they've been keeping the cost down low ever since. They've been coming up with amazing systems, but now these parts they're trying to put in here, again, this is going to cost the console gamers more money. And that's the reason why I have a PS4. The PS4 was never purchased for the simple fact that I wanted a gaming system to play games. I bought that because it was it's a good system, but it was much more affordable than me going out and spending $2-3 grand for a PC, and then turn around and have to spend another $800-900 for a VR system, which would have cost me a lot of money. Where when I saw that system, everything was all in one, and it came with games on top of that. Can't beat that at the end of the day. So I said, oh heck yeah, and bought it. That's why I bought the PS4 VR. It was a fantastic experience. I had a lot of fun on that system at the end of the day. I did so much. I barely ever went into the system myself. I was always in VR. It was amazing, man. Especially when there's little robots running around and you take your head and crash through walls and stuff like that. I love that VR experience I had from console. But not the way things are going now. It's too much money, man. That's way too much money. After I saw that whole system where they brought out the whole Pro on top of that, man, that'd burnt me up if I'd have went out and spent all that money and turned around. You're gonna tell me I don't have next gen, but that's next gen, and those games were better than the games that I bought. That's the whole reason why I bought the PS5 to begin with, was to get better games and better graphics. And you turn around and you say, oh, you don't really technically have it. This has it. Some people don't mind. Some people don't care, they don't mind. That's good, that's fantastic. But other people, on the other hand, want the best of the best. That's the reason why I went out and clocked the money for the machine, because I wanted the best graphics I could possibly get. And you're going to turn around. That's the same thing, remind me of freaking iPhone users. I don't know how y'all go through that freaking fiasco. Freaking, y'all just get the phone. Just get it. And then turn around and bring out a whole new phone right on top of the fact that you just bought the phone. I'm like, what the freak? Y'all all sitting in line. Y'all spend most of your life sitting in line waiting for a phone. My friend think I'm joking. I'm like, no, y'all literally do. I have an Android. My phone right here. I had my phone for at least about roughly, I'd say, 5 years. I've had no need to go buy anything else. 5 years. I don't really use all that stuff that's on the phone. I got a pen on that thing. It's a Galaxy S10 Plus, whatever it is, but I don't even use the pen. I think I've only used the pen twice since I've had it. That's it. But I have a friend of mine that will literally, the minute a new phone comes out, and it'd be like, they'll come up with the iPhone. The iPhone here has a bigger screen. I'm like, really? We going here with that? Like, we had big screens on phones already. My Android has like a 6-something inch screen sitting on top of it. Really don't need to go out and get another bigger screen. But they'll go run out and he'll sit in line and he'll wait for hours and hours and hours and hours just to get a phone with a bigger screen. And I'll come back. And look, I got the big screen. I got the big. Come here, bring your phone over here. See, ta-da! Had it already. We had it already. They nickel and dime them on everything and they don't see it. And they goes, oh yeah, now we have a charging port and a headphone jack. Are you kidding me? Like, you sat in line for a charging port and a headphone jack. You sat in line because they had a different color case. You sat in line because it came with multiple cameras, which most people don't even use all of it to begin with. They just constantly just keep updating. They got some new stuff they just updated now to on top of it. They got a new lineup of phones. You spent all that money. You just bought that phone. Why are you buying it up? But this is the latest model. Because everybody has this one. Gee whiz Louise, really? When does it stop? And then now the same thing with consoles. Consoles used to be affordable. I didn't mind spending it for a new system. I wasn't going to go and buy a Slim when I already had the system already. I really didn't care because I already had a system already. Did the same thing my system. They're just thinner, that's all. Some would say it came with a bigger hard drive. Okay, then my system's upgradable. You know, the PS4s are upgradable to 8 terabytes. You just put another bigger terabyte on it. That's basically about it. Same thing. But you look at the system now, the Pro changed everything. It literally changed the platform for everything. Not in a good way, in a bad way. And people don't understand this. The Pro, if it came out, say the Pro came out, and say it just came with a bigger hard drive, all right? Then that's not a big change at the end of the day. But then again, when you think about it, it's nothing that's going to disrupt the fact that you have a next-gen system. It's not going to change your opinion on how you look at your machine. Because if I'm in the room with you and we're gaming together and you say, yeah, well, I've got the Pro, oh, you got a bigger hard drive? Like, you got the big hard drive, and you're like, yeah, that's what I got. But at the end of the day, we still have the same CPU, the same GPU, the same RAM. You just got a bigger hard drive. That's all. But not now. Suckers jumping in like, oh, heck, you know, I got the Pro, man. I got better graphics than you. Got a better CPU, GPU, better RAM. My power supply is more advanced than yours. It's a whole new system. I still can't believe they launched that system and next to a next-gen system. That's really jacked up. I hate to say it, that's really jacked up. That's like somebody advertising for years about this new apartment development they're bringing in. It's advanced, state of the art. the best of the best. You know what I mean? You got to get on this waiting list. You got to get in. You know, you're sitting in line, waiting list, going through the application approvals. You finally get into this building, and then boom! About a year later, they build a building next to it that makes your building like bleh. And you're like, but you just told me I went through all these hoops and jumps just to get this next system. You tell me this was the best. They ain't gonna turn around and bring this thing out. Now you're gonna walk up in there and think like, how much of a difference can it be from the apartment complex I'm living in? That freaking sucker is space age, man. Got teleportation and all this stuff, giant, massive screen. You're like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. And how much more is it gonna cost me to get this one here? Because you're already ticked off already, because they already sold you had the latest apartment. Oh, this is gonna be about $7,000. God, you freaking kidding me. Yeah, that's what happened to a lot of people. I've never seen that happen. If you look at the Xbox 360 era, look at how many consoles they launched in the Xbox 360 era. They literally had a limited edition unit on everything. You think about it. There was a Gears of War. There was a Halo limited edition. There was a Resident Evil limited edition. There's a bunch of them. A bunch of them. And they were a little bit more money. They came with a couple games, a couple new face plates with them, you know, custom red hard drive or red system. Whenever Gears had a huge Gear symbol on the side of it, the call on the side of it. You know what I mean? Halo system was different because it was kind of like a greenish, orange, kind of gray box, and everything had customized controllers and all that stuff with it. So those were limited edition units right there. They all burnt out, by the way. But anyway. Yeah, all that was limited edition, but you just get that system and this one come out. And the only difference between all those different limited edition systems was hard drive. That was it. The color of the box, what color it was, different customized face paint, plates, and your controllers. And the only thing inside that was the difference was your hard drive. They didn't come with a special CPU and extra high-end GPU, and the games all look the same. Nothing different. And if Sony comes out and does this, they bought a whole brand new system out. The only thing they didn't do, which would have made it worse, because they did, I told you, because it has a higher GPU in your system, which means the games look different. How would they be able to have the games play better on their system? It would have to be something there. It would have to be a different format of game. It can't be like you take a disc out and you stick it in there and it automatically transfers the disc. It's not going to happen. It has to be a different form of disc. So either they're going to design all new games that are compatible with it, or they're going to put in some kind of software firmware update to make the game optimized to the GPU that they have in the system. And that's what they did. So now, it's like a slap in the face. Because when you have a PS5 and you look at the game, you go, huh. So this section right here is just basically for those people who have the PS Pro to optimize to get the best image. That's always going to be staring you in the face. Now for PlayStation 4, we see that all the time. But again, you know, it's a new system. The PS5 is a new next-gen system, so you know it's expected, you know. But not when you have a next-gen system and you got another one staring you in the face that's a better next-gen system than the system you bought. Why did you buy the PS5? You bought the PS5 because you wanted the next-gen system, right? You wanted better graphics, you wanted better everything. That's why you bought it, right? So how does it feel that you bought that system and now there's another system that came out right behind yours and it's far better than yours? It doesn't have a hard drive, a difference in hard drive. It's a difference in everything. That's a slap in the face. And you know what? They know now that they can get away with that. They're going to do that to you again. It's going to happen again. Watch. When the PS6 comes out, and somebody mentioned it, they're going to have a slim version, which they always do. And then they're going to come out later on with probably a PlayStation 6 Pro and Anniversary Edition. So they can make their money back. .360 did it. 360 had multiple versions of itself. And multiple versions of itself. Some just had bigger hard drives on them, but multiple versions of themselves. They're all the same box, they just had different shells. And controllers, and a bigger hard drive. Except for that whole nonsense with the Elite system that came with that Frost chip, or what do they call it, Jasper chip, I think it was. There was nothing different about that. I had it. I bought one that came out, a 120 gig hard drive on it. I only purchased it. The only reason why I bought it because they said that it was supposed to be much cooler, and the odds of you getting a red ring was never going to happen. Yeah, right, that happened. Yeah, I wish I could go back. I wish I did record my videos when I was on 360. That'd been nice to show you some of the stuff we did, but yeah, that system burnt out, man. It burnt out. It red ring on me. I was so ticked off, tired of Microsoft. And let me tell you something too. It's not just Microsoft. It's the whole freaking console nonsense altogether. Everybody, what they're doing to the fan base. They're really dogging the fan base out. They are. They really are dogging the fan base out. I think back then when they designed games, they truly designed games for the fans. Now today, man, it's nickel and dime you on every freaking thing. Get over as much as we possibly can. Lie, cheat, steal, rob, whatever you can do at the end of the day. And you'll just keep coming back to us because you have no other place to go. That's pretty much it. It's like dealing with a slumlord with them. It is. We'll give you crap at the end of the day. You'll take a little bones here and there, and you'll deal with it, and you have no other place to go. Oh my goodness. Well, I'll tell you something. If there's any developers out there, anybody at the end of the day, if you're thinking about building a console system, now would be the time to do it and do the opposite of what they're doing. And you would dominate it easily. Very easily you would dominate it. You would easily dominate it. Any system that comes out that's pretty much under that PS5 mark and you can still produce a good system at the end of the day, you can wrap this up easy. If there's no one going to step in against the PS5, let me explain something to you, PlayStation fans at the end of the day. You're screwed. I'm going to tell you why you're screwed. Because you got a system that's going to go rogue on you. There's nothing to go pay, nothing to stop it. When you sit there and say, oh, well, we got the most powerful, that's all great and all that you have the most powerful system. That's fantastic right there, you do. But you have to remember, if they are the most powerful system and they're better than everybody else, then guess what? They can charge whatever they want and they know you will pay for it. Where else are you going to go? That's literally their attitude. Where else are you going to go? We have the best system on the planet. Where else are you going to go? The difference is when we make that statement, we keep our prices to a point where we can knock out a $7,000 projection screen. We can go and say, hey, look, we want $20,000 for our screens. Where else are you going to go? We don't do that. We go, no, we're way under everybody else. When it comes to high-grade certifies, we make it affordable for everybody. But when you got a company that, again, they know the system's the most powerful. There's nothing to challenge them. With the Xbox One challenge, I'm sorry, fanboys. No, you can't compete with that system. It's not going to happen. You can't compete with it. Nintendo, no, they can't compete with that thing. So, again, at that particular point, if it basically is going to be traveling at that particular rate, they're going to charge whatever they want. Because, again, where else are you going to go? It ain't like you got somebody else you can go to. Now, see, if you bring another company comes in with a system that can go toe-to-toe with theirs, they're not going to act like that. They're going to keep their prices and keep their fan base. Because, again, if they don't keep their fan base, they could take their fan base from them and they can go out of business. That's why it's not good to have monopoly in companies. That's why. That's the problem you have with SEPTA and Philly. And I lived in Philly for a long time. SEPTA runs Philly. They do. The entire transit system in Philadelphia is run from SEPTA. If SEPTA decides to go on a strike, they could cripple the entire city. So you got to give them what they want. Because if you don't give them what they want, you ain't going nowhere at all, period. So you got to give them what they want. Now, if we bring in they brought in another transit line in there called Philly to Go, and Philly to Go will have more reasonable prices than SEPTA. Guess what that means? People just go to Philly to Go. They don't go to SEPTA. SEPTA starts losing money. But now SEPTA got to drop their prices too. If they're going to deal with Philly to Go, they got to go about that. And if they go on strike, which they're going to go on strike anytime they want to because they run the city, Philly to Go can say, hey, we're here, we'll take you with no problem whatsoever, which means you're going to see less strikes. A lot of less strikes. That's why you have to have other systems in there. It balances the playing field. If one system decides that it wants to go rogue. It's much like the Halo system. If you ever know about the Halo system, what was designed, the Halo system was designed to pretty much wipe out the universe, reset it, give it a reset. Just in case if one alien race became too powerful, or decided they just wanted to dominate the universe, the Halo system was designed to reset. It was designed to wipe life and restart it again. So that's the problem you have right now. Sony being the most powerful system right now, they can pretty much charge wherever they want, because where else are you going to go? And they know their fan base is going to be loyal to them no matter what. There's your nightmare right there. And if you don't think about that, I was in there talking to a bunch of fanboys, they're like, yeah, man, we're the most powerful system, this, so, so, and so, blah, 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 blah. And I fed that to them, they were like, yeah, you're going to pay a lot more money now. There's competition in there. Unless Xbox brings something out, a sleeping giant at the end of the day, and then that sways things a little bit here and there. Because then their fan base can get tired of the way they were treated, and if Xbox comes out with a system that is far more affordable, much more advanced than the PlayStation, then they could very well lose their fan base. And that's something they could be getting ready for, which you don't know. That's what I like about consoles, man. You've been watching console wars from day one, man. You will see some of the most interesting strategy moves ever. It is just amazing just watching how they bounce back and forth. And you know who wins in the process? We do. We win in the process because it causes consoles to work harder to make better stuff, which means we get better stuff in the end. And they'll drop prices at the end. They'll have amazing sales just to beat out each other at the end of the day. And we win in that process. Yeah, Sony being broke on itself, oh my goodness. That's why they charge you so much money for that system. Yeah, it has the expensive parts, it does. But it's going to get worse than that, man. It's going to get worse. That PS6, we better hope and pray that Xbox comes out with something. But if they don't, you fanboys that are on that Sony, you're going to pay so much money for that 6. It's going to blow your freaking mind at the end of the day. How much money you're going to pay for it. Base price is $900. That's base price. The guy was laughing about, like, what's next? What are we going to do next? Are we just going to basically just, next system, PS7, is just going to come with no freaking hard drive. It's going to come with no controllers. And then PS8, you have to assemble the system, and the base point is $3,600 or $3,200. I was crying when I said that. Yeah, but he ain't off on it. He's not. He's not off on it. They're going to start removing stuff from you, left and right. I mean, they started doing it a long time ago. I mean, people want to complain at the end of the day about how console removes stuff. They've been doing it a long time ago. Remember when console used to have 4 ports? Yeah, you bring your friends over, play some Smash Brothers, some Bond, whatever day, and y'all kick the crap out of each other. Remember that? Then they started showing 2 ports on the system. That started to disappear. And if you wanted to play 4 ports, you had to buy a special adapter to connect it so you can connect an extra 2 more people on a system that used to have 4 on it. So they've been doing nickel and diamond for years. Those people that weren't from that era don't know about that. They think they're just getting the shaft when it comes to have to pay for a stand. No. They've been doing that stuff for a while, taking little bits and pieces away here and there. Because like I said, if you remember the era of N64 and playing on 4 ports with your buddies, and then you turn around and look at the systems, they don't have 4 ports anymore. Now they have 2 ports. And if you want to go out and play with a 4-port setup, you're going to spend extra $30 just to get that adapter to plug it in and put 2 more people in. Joy. Well, people, I'm going to get back to work. I got things to do. And this will be my last video for today. And I'm not doing more videos. I got some things that I take out, family and stuff like that coming down. More family coming down. More family coming down. Get all that taken care of and see them, see how they're doing. I've seen some people in like 5 years, and so a long time not to see family. So this would be nice and sit around and talk and stuff like that. You know, we usually do. And I'm not going to be on Sunday because I'm sticking to that. I should have stuck to that. I did mess up on that. Was not doing the Lord right by coming up on Sunday and doing video demonstrations, which is the Lord's Day, and that's the day I'm not supposed to be doing anything at all except for serving God. And I do apologize for being that person at the end of the day to all my Christian people out there, I do apologize. And for everybody, I apologize. I'm not supposed to be that person. I'm not supposed to do that. So no more videos on Sunday. That's the end of it. So that's basically about it. So when I come back on, hopefully we got some of the stuff over here. We start working on these machines, and I've got a new camera stand coming. We'll be using the box anymore, and we'll show you some of the stuff we're working on, give you a better idea. I do want to have on recording how we put this screen together, the panel screen, because the box system is so much easier to do. It really is. I ain't got to build jack. And when I get done, and I'm time for me to leave here, I just throw all this stuff in the trash. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much it. And carrying any heavy furniture, which I don't like to do. Hope you enjoyed the video demonstration. Be safe out there. All right. May God, may the Lord bless and watch you. I gotta go. Thank you for your time, and God bless. Bum, bum, bum.